Yeah, there's a really good queue in this one.
Let's go somewhere else. I need signature.
I'm actually steady. What line you want is in there.
There's one.
Oh yeah.
There's one in that.
You see, he's so stable. This is
They're very similar to koalas.
Oh my gosh. Is that the mouse do?
Which
But
one?
in the box up there, there's this. What's its stomach? Oh, there's one there as well.
Resonant rasping sound that is quite like that.
Yeah. It's crazy to think that there used to be lions in Europe.
Yeah. Actually doesn't look like scout in terms of
Yeah.
colour and
We've got 3 shepherds.
Yes, there is. Yeah. Come on then. Not much going on. Just more. Because he wants to push it.
You call it this mommy's pram as well.
Yes.
Yeah,
you said you can have a look. I have. This is the but it's moving, isn't it? Yeah. Let's see if it comes
Yeah. Come on, let's go see this.
I remember the white tigers.
Here?
Yeah. I think they were where the lions are now.
Did you come with your mum then?
Yeah, my mum and dad and Rach, yeah.
Like right there. Maybe not.
Oh, I didn't like. Oh, they're coming. Jeez, you're not like a scratch.
No, it takes a lot of effort. So this one's like the house in the kitchen.
I think I was probably living there the whole time she was.
Probably coming from the tree.
What's that in like the
That is me.
plates?
We see some kind of missing. So you've seen one. So you've officially seen one.
Oh, that's big. It's massive.
We're at here.
Don't see tortoises. Oh, wow. Oh, look how big these are. Oh, look how big the tortoises are. Giant tortoises. There's 3 there and 1 over there. One's looking. It's so big. Tortoise, yeah. Big tortoise. Big tortoise, aren't they?
Baby tortoise.
Wait, see them?
Baby tortoise.
Yes, and I'm about to take a photo.
Move much today.
Whoa, that's big.
Oh, he's moved his head. He's looking at us now.
Oh, hello.
He's little man.
Oh.
Oh.
Looking at us.
Look, you can see it better.
Yes, I've seen it. Is that?
Why is it so big? Look at that. Why is it so big? I thought that was
Can you see how this works?
No, not very well. You can just see he's got one claw like this. Be asleep.
Let's go in again. It does. It's pretty cool with the fun, isn't it?
Bristol Zoo Gardens was opened in 1836 and relatively used until 1846. There's another one.
We got any more?
Thank you. Yeah, we can't go in there and see. We've got to stay in the car.
Right, I think we nearly ran out there. We went for the top two. Let's go this way. We'll go sit down for each other. Basil, I'll ask you a question. Can you see the baby? Can you see the baby? There's a baby.
I see him! I see him!
Can you see the nursery over there? Lying down. Stretching his head. Can you see a baby up there as well? He's a little one. About your size. That little one. There's a really big daddy up there. Turn around behind you. Can you see?
So we're here. Oh my goodness! The gibbons.
There we go.
You don't go over.
Okay, I can do the monkey bars. Oh, that's a bit like you. Maybe.
But his arms like really trying to size.
When I met him in London, he's getting on about this party. Drag out. Sun. What's that then?
You got monkey. Monkey.
Patagonia. Yeah, they do look like it. I think they're actually I want to see them. I mean, unless you're
Yeah, there's one there now. Look. Oh, this is so cool. Yeah. So they have the characters and stuff as well, makes them have tree numbers, yeah. That's not fair. Bring me home. I will. Lovely.
Is that what they do? Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I see.
Boys, just wait a second. Leo, Ethan, come on, darling.
So fun.
Oh, that's the waterfall.
They're like messing in clips. I do actually, in fact that
Look at them.
that must have been there.
Yeah, well, like these.
They are the
Oh, you know what?
What? No, you've got the granny.
I want to go down
Do you think they get an invitation? Get rain? You want to get rain?
Oh, hello.
Give him away. Bye.
Come over and try to take some.
How's that doing it work? You all hearing on the microphone? Yeah. Fantastic. Just a little bit quiet. Quite tell. Hopefully we're having a lovely time with us at Bristol Zoo today. My name's Ian. I'm just going to be here for a few minutes to yammer on a little about our penguins, while Sophie, who's one of our bird keepers, does some proper work. She's going to make sure that it's one massive view. Now, I'll start with a show of hands. There's quite a lot of you here. We can get a good response to this. Can I get a hand up from anyone that thinks that penguins live in cold places for a while? Hand up right down the back. Can't be the only person. A few more of you. Okay, about 5 of you have seen a penguin in a cold place before. What about penguins living in hot places? Anyone think they live there? More. It's supposed to be another one. Well, if you put your hand up, you're right either way. So there's 80 different species of penguins spread around the world, and a handful of them are down at the South Pole. They're the ones you see most of the time in documentaries, but most species live in much, much warmer climates. So you'll find them living in places like South America, places like Australia and New Zealand, and even in places like Africa. And our penguins here at Bristol Zoo are African penguins. They come from the southern coast of the continent where it gets very warm and sunny a lot of the time, so they are more than capable of dealing with the temperatures we get here in the neck. Now, African penguins go by another couple of names as well. They're also called black-footed penguins because they've got black feet, and they get called jackass penguins, which we have been told has nothing to do with their personality. So, having worked with them, we would disagree with that just a little bit. They are lovely, but they're also bright little teethers. But actually, the reason they're called jackass is because of the noises that they make. So they're not too noisy this time. So, but if you do happen to hear what sounds like a donkey as you're walking around, it will actually be this one. So we don't have any donkeys here at Bristol Zoo, but our penguins make that same braying sound that a donkey does. It's just one of the ways of At the moment, they are getting a little bit of food down here on the beach with Sophie, and this is their third meal of the day. For the first 2 meals, we fed them in the water. That way it's nice and natural. They can swim around, they can get a good bit of exercise chasing after the food is thrown in. But for this third meal, we do it up here on the beach. And that means, first of all of you get a clearer view of them whilst they're eating. But also, really importantly, so for Sophie, that as you're feeding them, you're trying to share that fish out as evenly as you can. But also checking each of them as they come up nice and close to see how they go, making sure they're nice and close. And if we do spot there's a penguin we want to keep a closer eye on, we need to know which penguin that is. And that's something much easier said than done. Because at least to me, they look more or less the same. Now, credit where it's due, our keepers, who spend a lot of time with them, have a weird sixth sense about this and can sort of pinpoint them from like 50 yards. It's uncanny. But for most of us, they're more or less identical, which is why we have a way of cheating. And that is that rubber band on their wings. So each of them has one, and it's got a series of numbers and letters on it, and that's like an ID code. and you can quickly look at that and know who too. If anybody has adopted Poppy the penguin, she's right down there at the front at the moment. She is the only bird in here that wears a red wing band, and she's often over at that side sitting on the nest, but nicer to make the video. As well as that, they all have a microchip in their neck, so we can scan this to be 100% sure who we're looking at. But there is also a third way of telling them apart, which is a bit trickier, but also nice and natural, and that's to have a look at their bellies. So they've each got a big white patch on their stomach, and it's got black spots all over it. And the pattern of those spots is a fingerprint. No two penguins have the same pattern. You can look at that and know who to, but it does take a lot of stopping and staring. So realistically, it's much quicker and easier for us to look at the wing back. One that you can look out for is a little, I don't know what to call it, little celebrity pixie or that. Bruce, who is sitting down at the front, facing away from Sophie, because he's too hot for that. He has got a little upside down triangle, 3 spots at the top left of his breast there. So quite nice and easy to tell apart from the others. Sort of just like a bodyguard at the moment. And how, yeah, this is one way we can tell them apart, but realistically, it's much easier for us to do so with that. Very, very simple. Bruce and Poppy are the only two that we really can.
I see one. Right there.
Pass through here.
So I can go over.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, no problem.
This is very nice.
I remember honestly, that moment, I was just like, I don't know what it was. I Good afternoon, everyone. Hope you're having a lovely time with us at Bristol Zoo today. My name's Ian. I'm just going to be here to tell you a little more about our group of South American fur seals. Barry is one of their keepers. He's going to be giving them a bit of food and doing some training with them as well. Now, we've got 3 of them here together. These 3 are brothers. Up at the top of the rocks there, we have Pablo. Then closest to me and Ben here at the front, we have the youngest, called Juan. And then behind him on his rock that he does not share with his brothers is the eldest of the 3, called Toro. Now, these 3 do get on very well with each other. And the way that you typically see them in like a documentary would be 1 male, big bull, and around 15 females. And that's their breeding group called a harem. And he'll be defending those females from other males that might try to breed with them. What that means is that naturally, there aren't enough females for every male to have a group. So you also get what we call bachelor groups, just like this, made of males, and our guys do get on very well. Except when they squabble over food like that, that was quite tame, to be honest. Now, they are very intelligent animals, similar intelligence as a dog, and so, as well as giving them a nice natural home and trying to give them everything that they would come across, we also do these extra training sessions with them, because it's really good physical and mental stimulation for them. It also helps improve their bond with keepers. We can get them doing extra natural behaviours they might not feel they have to, and lots of things that help us to take better care of them and help with vet checks. So we're going to see a few of those here today, starting there with a spin. Now, a spin is a nice, quick and easy way of us being able to check all around the seal's body as it spins around, but also checking that it seems in generally good health, because it takes a lot of joints and muscles to do that spin. And if they're struggling with that at all, it means something's not quite right. And actually, not that long ago, we found that Pablo at the top there was struggling a little with this. Something wasn't quite right there. So then, with that next behaviour we saw, these flipper raises, we are able to check the underside of their flippers. Now, this is really helpful because, as you can see, they've got good upper body strength. They hold themselves up with their flippers on the land. It means that not only do they swim with them, and they're really fast in water, they're also really fast on the rocks. And from time to time, they will get little cuts and scratches. Now, what we did once we... And now he's back to full strength. So that was really useful to have these behaviours. It made it much quicker and easier for us, and a lot less hassle for him. May also spotted then that we got them all to go in the water. As I said, it's not just vet training that we do this for. It's also nice and natural behaviours, getting them chasing after their food, playing with their toys, swimming around, things they do out in the wild. Holding their mouths open like this is also really handy for checking their gums and their teeth. So if you do see inside their mouths, you'll see that they have got kind of brown, blackish teeth. which for you and me is not typically what you'd be looking for on a Colgate advert. But it's exactly what you want when you look inside their mouths, because that is the colouring that comes from eating all this fish. The oils from their food that turn them this colour, and it actually encourages healthy natural bacteria to grow in their mouth, and it's kind of like a natural toothpaste, helping to keep their mouth clean. Now, as well as these, we can also get them to do layouts. That was 3 very different layouts. Did you ask for a normal one? Yeah, so Juan got it right, so Juan gets a reward. They're not rewarded for doing the wrong behaviour. At the back there, Toro did a reverse layout, and Pablo did some sort of side-on, like, jaunty thing that we've never asked for. But a layout is helpful because they lie flat for us. We can x-ray them, we can weigh them, we can feel all over their back for things like lumps and bumps, we can inject them or take blood, and we don't have to knock them out to do any of this. They'll just lie there, and as soon as we're done, they're on their way again. And this is really handy because they have what's called a deep dive response. So basically, they need to come up to breathe because they're mammals. We're knocking them out wherever we can, and by doing this, it makes it much safer for them, much safer for us, and much quicker and easier as well. And a reverse layout, which is what Toro then did when he was asked for it, is very helpful for looking at their bellies, particularly handy with females, so you can check if they're pregnant and see how things are going. The jaunty one is useful for them. Now, as you can also see, they're each in a specific spot. These are their stations, so we will always ask them to be in the same place for training. It lets us know that they are engaged and ready to do it. If they don't want to train, they don't have to. They can just go off and do whatever they want. It's not compulsory, it's just something that they can do if they'd like to. And as I said, we'll also get them doing natural behaviours too. So we saw them diving in there after their food. We can also get them to do things like jumps, where they'll come straight out of the water. Now this is handy in the wild for a couple of reasons. First, it helps them to get away from predators. So they are a big hunter, but there are bigger, faster things out there, like orcas, and orcas will eat our fur seals in the wild, and they are quicker in a straight line, so our boys wouldn't stand much of a chance. So what they'll do is, if they're being chased, they jump out of the water, breaking the line of sight, try and land behind the orca, and make a getaway in another direction. But also, it's really good for showing off to the ladies. It takes a lot of skill and effort and strength to do these jumps, and at breeding season it's a good way of competing with each other to try and get the attention of females. So a nice simple way of doing it. Now, one last thing I do quickly want to mention is exactly what sort of animal they are. So I've been calling them fur seals, and that's because they are not a true seal, and they're also not a sea lion. Whoever came up with the name really wanted to make this hard to explain. So a fur seal is more like a sea lion than it is a true seal. Just like a sea lion, they've got good upper body strength, so they swim with their front flippers, they can move fast on the land, they can catch you if you try and run away from them, so I wouldn't try it. And either side of their head, they've got a little flap where their ears are. True seals are the big hairy slug on the land, they just flop about without any grace or dignity. And they've got a hole just either side of their head where their ears are. What makes a fur seal different to a sea lion is in the name, it's their fur. So, sea lions have got a layer of blubber and then a layer of fur. Our boys here have 2 layers of fur. The outer coat is long and waterproof, and when they go in the water, it all joins together like a nice big sock. Makes them really sleek and streamlined. And
So they do half the time they turn here and go back, half the time they go through there. They don't seem to go on the other side at all at the moment.
Oh wow, that's lovely. Where is it upside down? The monkey
You want Ben and Jerry or you want this one?
Over 1.2, so you're not as tall as the great but are Right, Manny, you stand against it.
All right. What do you want to do now?
You're not trying to pull this neck and really go, you're not far off. Maybe we should go a little bit forward at the end.
Can she go on the floor? Oh, then you should go and get like a plate. Oh, you go and get your coke or something. There was some chocolate. No, let's go to a shop. There's a cafe here, look at it.
Ice cream.
Well, that's going to go in here. Remember, we were seeing people buying ice cream? Remember this? Remember? Okay, let's go to the truck. You can choose more ice cream. You can put more flavor.
Yeah, but we don't know which way.
I know. I know.
So we have to go. So we have
No, we haven't got any left.
Found this one.
They're going to play over a certain way, over a certain
Isn't it?
Oh, Mummy, these are their feeding stuff. This is how they drink. They drink from here.
They don't care. They don't care about people.
Oh my god.
That's why they're called anxious attacks. Sometimes when you name things.
Ruben, have you seen these ones here? Ruben?
Have a look at these ones, Stephen.
That's the most pretty one.
That's lovely, isn't it?
That's my favourite. By far. It looks like it's got holes in it.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? And that's about as exciting as they get.
My favourite one is that one.
I like the big blue ones.
I like that one.
One reason we listen to each other is that they don't fly very well. So they're here because they've been for about 7 to 10 days. And they don't eat, so they're like, probably a couple of days because he was here on Monday. He was here this afternoon because we
Have you seen the life cycle? They're eating melon. You see, like,
This.
Yeah. And then it lays new eggs.
So that. I say standing in Bristol for about 6 to 8 weeks. Mine was waiting with for about a year. One by one. Be very, very careful. You'll spend hours doing that.
Thank you so much.
Oh, I know.